Hello, welcome back to part 2 reception. We've just read the book The Magic Paintbrush. I wonder if we can remember who our main characters were. Now I can think of 2 main characters. I wonder if you can remember them. That's right, the little girl called Shen. And she got given a magic paintbrush, didn't she, by an old man when she was on the beach. And then later on we meet another character who's a very cross character. Can you remember who that is? Should we have a look? That's right, it's the Emperor. Here he is, the Emperor. Now the word Emperor, we saw that word last week when we were looking at Chinese New Year and the story behind Chinese New Year. Now here is the word Emperor. Emperor. Now an emperor, can you remember what that word meant? That's right, it's a little bit like a king. So the emperor in China used to be, many, many years ago, the person who made up all of the rules in China. That's right. The emperor was the person who made up all the rules in China and was the most powerful person. So she meets the most powerful person in China. The emperor. That's a big deal. That would be like the Queen of England coming to find you and asking you to do something. And what did Shen say? Did she say yes? She didn't, did she? She said no. Now, Bertie wants to say something. Oh, he's got a question. Okay, that's a good point. Bertie wants to go back to the beginning. Now, Bertie says at the very beginning, Shen, now we know that she loves to draw. We know that she really likes art because she's drawing on the beach. And that's when a man comes over, doesn't he, to give her a paintbrush. Now, the man says she has to promise something. What was it that she had to promise? It's quite tricky. She had to promise not to paint for wealthy folk. Wealthy folk? Hear those words? Wealthy folk. Let's have a little think. Now, wealthy, I've drawn some coins here. Lots and lots of gold coins. In our story last week, The Runaway Wok, the Li family, do you remember them? They were the family that owned everything in the village. They owned all the money, the shops, they owned everything, and they were really wealthy, had lots and lots of money. I wonder what wealthy might mean. That's right, wealthy means rich, that you have lots and lots of money and lots of things. Folk. Now, wealthy folk, rich folk. I've drawn a picture here to help you to understand the word folk. What do you think it might mean? That's right, folk means people. Wealthy folk means rich people. So this man is asking Shen not to paint for who? For rich people, well done, and only for poor people. But Bertie isn't sure why. Why would he ask her to do that? I wonder why. What do you think, reception? Yeah, I agree. I think he knows that this paintbrush is so magical that everyone Shen spent her time painting for the people that have already got loads of things and making it come real. If a rich person already had a big house and they wanted Shen to paint another house, is that fair? No, it would be much more fair, wouldn't it, for her to paint for the poorer people who didn't have many things. It's a little bit like the Runaway Wok, isn't it? That he went off, and what did he do? What did the Runaway Wok do last week? That's right, the Runaway Wok went off to get some things from the rich people to share with the poor people. So that was the promise that Shen had to make. Only paint for the rich people. Now I've got a question. We're talking about the magic paintbrush, but what makes that paintbrush magic? What happens? Shall we see? What happens? Well, here she painted a picture of what? Can you remember? That's That's right, of a big pot full of fish and oysters and shrimps. And what happened to the pitcher once it had dried? That's right, it became real, didn't it? It became real. So the magic paintbrush, whatever you paint, becomes real. Amazing. Now, so let's go back to the emperor. And she says no. We asked the question a few minutes ago. Why did Shen say no to the emperor? Well, what did the emperor want? Can you remember? That's right, he wanted a tree, but instead of leaves, he wanted golden coins. Now, if he's like a king, is he going to be wealthy or poor? He's going to be wealthy. He's going to be rich, isn't he? And what was the promise that the old man made Shen make? That's right, only paint for the poor folk or the poor people, not for the wealthy people. Well, he's very wealthy, isn't he? So Shen said she stuck to her promise and said no. Now, at the end of this little section here, he's really cross, isn't he? The emperor is really furious because Shen said no. He's not used to people saying no to him. And he said something. Well, actually, he doesn't say it. He bellows. What does bellow mean? Bellow! That's right. It's another word for shouts. Really loudly. Seize the magic paintbrush and seize the girl called Shen. Here's that word, seize. What does that word mean? What might that word seize mean? That's right, take. Take the magic paintbrush and take the girl called Shen. Seize means take. So, let's see. She was very clever, wasn't she, with her plan? Can you remember what she did? That's right, she painted the key to get out of the door so she could escape. And then she painted a horse to get away. But then her plan is even better, isn't it? Because what does she paint now? What's this? Can you see her painting? That's right, she paints a river. I wonder why she paints a river. That's right, to stop the emperor coming to get her. But he doesn't stop. He says, I'm going to swim over. Now this is a super clever part of her plan. What does she start to paint? That's right, she's painting a ferocious dragon. Well, the emperor wasn't so brave then, was he? Because he decided not to go. And then she painted all the things for everybody in the village to have a wonderful, wonderful party. Just like at the end of the Runaway Walk. Why do I say that? That this is a little bit like the ending of the Runaway Walk. What happened in the Runaway Walk? At the very end. That's right. The Zhang family, they decided to use all the stuff that the Wok had got them to have a lovely party for everybody in the village. And that's exactly what Shen, the girl here, decides to do for her village as well. There's lots of things that are similar about the two stories, aren't there? They're such lovely, lovely stories. Now, I want to know what your favourite part of this book is. Now, my favourite part is where the first part of her plan, where she does this. How brave she was to do that. She could have just thought, oh, okay, I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to paint the tree for the emperor. But she knew it was wrong. So she was really brave. Because she could have got caught, couldn't she, on that horse? Now, I would like you to pause the video now and tell your helper or your teddy bear what your favourite part of the story was. What's your favourite part of the story? Pause the video now. Super, so many ideas. Now, the final thing that we're going to do today, and this is going to be your independent task. So, let me find the picture. I heard lots of you say that your favourite part was when she painted the dragon. Now, I wonder why she painted a dragon. I agree. She painted a dragon because he was so ferocious and scary. She knew the emperor would not be brave enough to come anywhere near that dragon. So, this is your independent activity now. what I'd like you to do is imagine that you are Shen. You've done all of those things, you've escaped, and now the Emperor is still after you to get that magic paintbrush. Shen painted a dragon to stop the Emperor. What would you have painted to stop the Emperor? I'll tell you what I would do first. I would have painted a water monster. And when the Emperor was going to swim along here, I would have painted a water monster to start rising up out of the water to scare him, so he'd have to go and swim back. So what would you have painted if you were Shen? What would you have painted to stop the Emperor? I'd like you to talk about that with your helper, and I'd like it as well if you could draw me a picture of what you would have painted, and even if you could write me a sentence about it as well. Let's hope though that you aren't using a magic pencil or a magic paintbrush, and let's hope whatever you're going to draw doesn't come true. Now I can't wait to see what you are going to do if you were Shen. Okay, see you soon, reception.